Chosen one. You were never meant to fight this battle in silence forever, because right now, at this very moment, there is a spiritual court in session, not a court of man, but a courtroom of heaven, and the gavel has already fallen. The investigation has flipped. The same ones who smiled in your face while orchestrating your downfall behind the scenes are now sitting in stunned disbelief, hearts pounding, secrets unraveling, and the silence they once used to cover their tracks has now turned against them. They thought they could bury the truth, but heaven kept receipts. Files sealed in the spirit are being unsealed in the natural. Conversations recorded in the unseen are now echoing through legal corridors and divine timelines. They thought they could delay the verdict, but justice does not ask permission when heaven has had enough. And heaven has had enough. You see, this is not just karma catching up. This is divine litigation. This is the Supreme Court of the spirit realm opening old archives, dusting off your name, and saying, "It's time." The courtroom has shifted. The roles have reversed. The once confident accusers now fumble for explanations, as if scrambling will save them from the flood of divine evidence overtaking their carefully constructed lies. You are never crazy. You are never paranoid. You were discerning early. And now the very proof they mocked you for not having is arriving by the second. Emails, documents, financial trails. Witnesses who once stayed silent are now whispering, then shouting, then testifying. And the best part? You didn't have to. Lift a finger, because chosen ones don't fight like the world does. You didn't retaliate. You didn't smear. You didn't panic. You stood still and heaven moved. What they didn't realize is that your silence wasn't weakness. It was strategy. While they shouted over you, you were listening to the Spirit. While they plotted in darkness, you were aligning with light. And now, the light has come to collect. Courtroom energy is everywhere. You can feel it in the air. Unease, anxiety, spiritual indigestion. You can see it in their faces. The same people who once held power over your story now desperately trying to rewrite theirs. But it's too late. The records are open. The seals are broken. And the court is in full session. Let me be clear. This is no ordinary exposure. This is a divine reckoning. Because what was done to you wasn't just betrayal. It was an illegal transfer of energy, favor, inheritance. And the court of heaven calls it theft. They siphoned what was meant for you. They redirected what had your name on it. But the judge of all judges just issued a divine subpoena. And everything they touched with unclean hands is returning to you sevenfold. This is not about revenge. This is about restoration. This is not about spectacle. This is about sacred justice. And listen closely. They are not being judged by your opinions. They are being swallowed by spiritual evidence. The weight of truth is crushing the scaffolding of their deception. And there is no safe room, no back door, no secret password that can lock out divine timing. You are no longer on trial. They are. And the evidence is speaking louder than any excuse they could ever craft. Because when heaven wants you vindicated, it won't whisper. It will shout through headlines. It will thunder through timelines. It will echo through witnesses. You never knew were watching. This is not just your story being cleared. This is an entire spiritual system being restructured. Chosen one. This isn't just your breakthrough. It's your ascension. You're not just being proven right. You're being positioned for RULERSHIP. And if you're feeling this in your spirit, drop a comment right now and say, "I receive divine justice." Let the courtroom of heaven record your agreement. Let every witness seen and unseen know that you are aligned with truth. And if you know someone who's been silenced, misunderstood, betrayed, share this message. Because this isn't just entertainment. This is a spiritual transmission. This is the beginning of their case being overturned too. The courtroom is active. The scales are moving. And the gavel is in motion. This is only the beginning. Stay with me, chosen one, because what's coming next will shake the system to its core. Chosen one, you've heard the whispers. You've seen the cracks forming. But now you're watching the whole network unravel before your eyes. Because this wasn't just a person. This was a system. A tangled web of manipulation, gaslighting, and calculated deceit, designed to trap your light. But instead, they've become entangled in their own creation. The trap they built for you is the one they fell into. And now, one by one, the alliances are crumbling. The loyal circle they once used to surveil, slander, and sabotage you is now turning in on itself. Because here's what they never saw coming. Light doesn't just expose, it divides. And when divine light hits a counterfeit connection, it doesn't just reveal, it severs. Now they're scrambling, blaming, turning on each other. Finger pointing, panic texting, scrubbing digital trails. But it's too late. The coordinates have been locked. The collapse has begun. You didn't have to strike back. Heaven already pulled the first thread. And the moment one piece fell, the entire blueprint began to collapse. Because God never meant for you to fight in that system. He meant for you to outgrow it, so He could burn it from the inside out. This was never about revenge. It was about alignment. And now, that whole ecosystem of spiritual parasites can no longer survive without you. You were the source they leached off of, the glue that held their shaky structure together. And now that you're gone, now that your silence echoes louder than their schemes, the vibration is too much. The distortion is crumbling under its own weight. You didn't have to raise your voice, because energy does not lie. And the same ones who joined hands to bury you are now exposing each other out of desperation. Because when you remove the light, darkness turns on itself. And this is not a coincidence. This is prophecy. You are never meant to fight them. You are meant to be the light that shattered their illusion from the inside. That's why you were chosen. Not to react, but to shift the atmosphere. And now, they're not just being exposed. They're being dismantled, strategically, spiritually, publicly. No cover story can hide them. No alliance can protect them. No manipulation can save them. Because once heaven starts the unraveling, man has no say in the pace or depth of exposure. This is the spiritual law in motion. This is the verdict delivered without a courtroom. And it sounds like this, each one dragged into the light by their own greed. So if you're feeling this in your spirit, drop in the comments right now. What was hidden is being unraveled. Because this is no longer just a personal reckoning. It's a divine dismantling. And you're not watching it to gloat. You're witnessing it to remember. You were never the threat. You were the trigger. And the light in you has done what noise never could. Chosen one. They thought they sealed it. They thought they erased every trace. But when God is the judge, no document stays buried and no witness stays silent forever. Because this is the season of divine retrieval. Files they swore were wiped are reappearing. Conversations they believed were private are echoing through legal chambers and spiritual realms alike. Deleted doesn't mean destroyed when heaven keeps backup copies. And the irony? The leak isn't coming from their enemies. It's coming from within, the very person they trusted the most, the one they called loyal, the one who sat at their strategy table, who helped tighten the noose around your name, has become the key witness in the divine courtroom of justice, because even pawns have breaking points. And some souls, even in corrupted systems, still carry a trace of conscience. A moment came, a whisper in the dark, and something cracked. Now, the sealed files are open. The signatures don't match. The timelines don't align. The story falls apart with every new page. That sacred seal they stamped, the one meant to lock truth away, is fractured. Heaven allowed the pressure to split it wide open, because when it's time for vindication, nothing stays hidden. Not lies, not signatures, not souls dot the paper trail they mocked you for searching, now leads straight to the heart of their operation. Emails, receipts, memos, affidavits. Each one is a nail in the coffin of their illusion. Each one is a thread unraveling the fabric of their false authority. Each one whispers. No one expected that the one they trusted most would become the witness for heaven's justice. This is what spiritual law looks like in action. Justice that doesn't knock. It enters unannounced. You were never crazy. You were early. And now what you sensed in the spirit is being confirmed in the natural. Let that land. They called you unstable while they covered crimes. They said you were dramatic while they doctored documents. They gaslit your reality to preserve their delusion. But now, the reality bites back. And the courtroom is not just physical, it's energetic. Heaven is holding court. And every truth is stepping forward, uninvited but undeniable. So if your spirit is resonating with this, type in the comments. The seal is broken. Truth is flooding in. Chosen one, you are never alone. You are just ahead. And what's being revealed in this hour will not just vindicate your name, it will shift the entire structure that tried to bury your voice. Chosen one, there is a courtroom where no one speaks, yet everything is heard. There is a verdict delivered with no need for defense. There is a judge who waits not for evidence, but for divine alignment. And that's where you are now. This is not a trial in the earthly sense. No jury, no lawyers, no cross-examinations. Because this isn't about opinion. Because this isn't about opinion. This is about truth. And truth doesn't need to shout. You see, the ones who slandered you. Prepared speeches. They rehearsed lies. They came dressed in charm and pity. But what they didn't expect was that your silence would be the loudest sound in the room. You didn't fight back. You didn't expose them online. You didn't go tit for tat, because you knew deep in your bones that when heaven opens court, truth walks in unarmed, and now your stillness has become the storm. Your silence has become the sword. Your absence in the conversation has become the echo that won't stop ringing. They called it indifference. They called it weakness. But what they couldn't see was that every time you refused to defend yourself, you were stepping back to let the divine gavel fall, because heaven is not late. Justice does not forget, and the universe records more than just words. It records energy. Let that sink in. The energy behind the manipulation, the tone behind the sarcasm, the smirk behind the lies. It's all been documented. And now, the files are being read aloud in the spirit. But this courtroom doesn't require your rebuttal. It doesn't need a closing argument. Because the judge is light. And light doesn't argue with darkness. It simply reveals it. This is the reckoning. And not the kind that makes headlines. The kind that happens in rooms no one sees, where spirits tremble, where karma collects, where masks dissolve in the heat of truth. They wanted drama, but what they got was a divine review. And the only thing on trial is their reflection. Chosen one, you don't have to prove anything, because your silence was already proof. Proof that you didn't retaliate. Proof that you had restraint. Proof that you trusted a higher court. And now the court speaks. Now the scales tip. Now the very people who swore they'd never be caught are being exposed without a single word from you. Divine verdict. Your silence became the loudest sentence in the room. Let this be your affirmation today. I didn't win by fighting. I won by not lowering my frequency. Because this is spiritual warfare done with grace. This is justice delivered in whispers. This is divine timing moving in your favor, like a verdict no one saw coming. So if you feel this in your soul, if you've kept silent for too long, if you've waited without explanation, drop in the comments, "Haven't heard what I didn't say?" Because it did. And in this courtroom, your silence wasn't the absence of voice. It was the presence of power. Chosen one. They thought they were burying you, but they didn't know. They were planting you. What they meant for harm has now become the very soil that is growing your legacy. The sabotage, the gossip, the stolen opportunities, the betrayal that broke your spirit for a season, none of it was random. It was all divinely rerouted into the making of your crown. And now, the great reversal begins. This is the sanctification of sabotage, where every weapon formed against you now becomes a tool in your elevation. Every lie now a platform for truth. Every delay now divine positioning. You see, chosen one, God didn't just block their attacks. He used them. He harvested every attempt to break you and repurposed it as proof that you could not be broken. They threw fire. He forged gold. They tried to isolate you. He hid you to prepare you. They stole from you. He multiplied what they took 7 times over. Divine verdict. What they stole, heaven restores double, triple, 7-fold. You didn't just survive. You were sanctified. Through pressure, through pain, through the fire they meant to destroy you. But like gold in the furnace, you didn't melt. You emerged refined, sharper, wiser, unshakable. Look around you now. The tables are turning in silence. Opportunities once blocked reopening. Connections once severed being. Rerouted to you. And doors they thought they locked? They're swinging open by divine override. Because heaven has a memory, and it pays interest. What they tried to bury in rumor, he's now exalting in plain sight. Not what they mocked in whispers. He's now showcasing in glory. What they thought was the end of you was just the unveiling of a version they were never meant to handle. And now they have to watch, not because you wanted revenge, but because your rise was always part of the divine archive God. This is what it looks like when the courtroom of heaven overturns every earthly agenda. This is what happens when divine justice isn't just served, it's multiplied. So let them. Say, why them? Let them wonder, how are they still standing? Because the answer is simple. Favor is not fair, but it is final. Chosen one. You are walking into a season where everything they meant to ruin you will now be required to bless you. And the best part? You won't even need to knock. The doors will recognize your presence. Because the code has been activated, the courtroom is ruled, and your inheritance is in motion. So repeat after me, declare it in your spirit. Every attack was a seed. Every delay was divine timing. And now I rise. This is your divine comeback, not fueled by anger, not driven by vengeance, but wrapped in silence, crowned with favor, and delivered with heavenly proof. If this message stirs something deep in you, if you've been quiet while everything seemed to fall apart, comment below. They tried to bury me, but I've taken root. Because you have . And in the next chapter, we won't just rise. We'll reign. The verdict has been sealed. The reversal has begun. And heaven's restitution is unstoppable. Stay grounded. Stay silent. Stay chosen. Chosen one. You are never just one voice in the dark. You are always a signal, a broadcast, a divine frequency encoded with memory. That's why they tried to isolate you. That's why the attacks were so precise. They weren't just silencing you. They were trying to interrupt the signal. Because what heaven placed in you wasn't meant to be contained. It was meant to resonate. And now, after exile, after silence, after the breaking, your frequency is going out like a beacon across realms, like a sacred code echoing across the veil. This is transmission time. And here's the divine irony. The same silence they thought would erase you has become the clearest sound in the spiritual realm. Your stillness is sending signals. Your survival is speaking louder than any sermon. Your healing is releasing codes. Every time you chose to stay aligned, every time you chose not to retaliate, every time you chose to heal in private, you were sending pulses through the grid. And now, it's activating the others, the ones who carry fragments of your soul family, the ones scattered across timelines, across cities, across lifetimes, who are waiting for someone like you to ignite the field. Symbol, light waves rippling, soul resonance awakening, divine verdict. They tried to isolate you, to block your signal. But now, the whole universe is picking up your frequency. And one by one, they're coming online. You're noticing it, aren't you? Strangers who feel familiar, eyes that mirror your fire, dreams syncing with those of others, conversations that feel like reconnection, not introduction. This is the network of remembrance, not built by algorithm, but by alignment. You weren't supposed to do this alone. You were just the first to remember, the first to break the pattern, the first to send out the sound of restoration. And now, the rest are tuning in. Chosen one, you're not just healing for you. You're healing for an entire soul ecosystem. Your recovery is not private. It's prophetic. You are the center node of a divine grid that's now coming alive. And guess what? No force can stop it now. Not gaslighting, not distance, not even time. Because when heaven sends out a signal, it never returns void. The circle is closing. The scattered are gathering. The frequency is stabilizing. And the mission is activating. This is what they didn't want you to find. Your people. Your kind. Your reflection in others. But it's too late. The light is moving. The signal is strong. And the network is live. Repeat after me. Declare it in the comments. I am not alone. I am part of a divine frequency. Say it, because speaking it sends another wave, and every wave reaches another sleeping soul. This is not a trend. It's a calling. This is not coincidence. It's prophecy unfolding. This is not the end of your isolation. It's the beginning of your activation. So when they try to ask, why are you glowing? Why are you so calm? Why do you move like someone who knows something? Smile, because the truth is, you do. You've remembered the map. And now, you've triggered the transmission. Stay grounded. Stay lit. Stay connected. The network is listening. Chosen one. You were never meant to fight one person. You were born to disrupt a system. A system built on pretense, maintained by manipulation, shielded by the illusion of credibility. But now, the walls are cracking. The curtains are burning. And what once hid in polished halls and fake smiles is being dragged into the light. This is not just about them. This is about the entire mechanism that empowered them. The whisper network, the false titles, the mask of authority covering a soul of decay. Symbol, the collapse of towers, masks falling one by one. You didn't just walk away. You unplugged from the matrix. You removed your light, and the false structures can't survive without it. That's why they tremble, because they were never the source. You were. They were never the strength. Your alignment was . And now that you're no longer participating in the lie is losing form. Divine verdict. Truth doesn't need backup. It only needs exposure. And the exposure has begun. Have you noticed it? Those who were once respected now caught stammering in contradictions. The people they weaponized against you now questioning everything. And the institutions they leaned on now backing away, slowly, quietly, because they know it's about to collapse. They thought they could spin the narrative forever. But truth doesn't run out of breath. Truth doesn't need revenge. It only needs time. And now that time has arrived, Chosen one, you are the leak in the dam, the pressure point in their fortress, the silent witness that couldn't be bought or broken. Your existence is the audit. Your presence is the courtroom dot, and the verdict already written. You don't need to scream. You don't need to explain. Because while they scramble to silence rumors, heaven is revealing receipts. Every deal done in secret, now echoing in public. Every role they faked, now stripped away by consequence. This isn't gossip. This is justice. This isn't karma taking its time. This is karma on divine speed. And what's more powerful than any trial on earth? The one happening in the spirit realm, where no mask survives, no connections protect, no narrative overrides. The record's written in light, because heaven doesn't miss a lie. And the truth never needed a megaphone. It just needed this moment. So if you've been asking, why now? Why is everything unraveling all at once? It's because the frequency of falsehood can no longer sustain itself in the atmosphere of your clarity. You are the breaker of patterns, the restorer of light, the divine interruption they never saw coming. And no matter how they resist, systems built on shadows always collapse when the light stays long enough. I didn't destroy the system. I revealed its cracks. I didn't betray them. I stayed loyal to truth. I wasn't too intense. I was encoded to expose. This isn't the end of the exposure. It's just the opening statement. Share this. Affirm it. And remember, the courtroom of heaven is still in session, and the judge never sleeps. Chosen one, this was never about going back. You didn't come this far just to return to old seats, broken tables, and distorted titles. You came to reclaim the entire realm that was stolen, diluted, manipulated in your absence. Symbol, a soul crown, sealed documents of destiny being transferred. There's a reason they feel the shift. The trembling you sense in the air isn't fear of your return. It's the recognition of your reign, because heaven doesn't send warriors back to old battles. Heaven crowns them after the smoke clears. Not as survivors, but as rightful rulers. You are not here to ask for space. You are here to reoccupy your domain. Every place where your name was slandered shall now echo with your vindication. Every room where your voice was mocked shall now adjust to the frequency of your silence. Every connection that collapsed under manipulation shall now be replaced by divine alignment. And every attempt to rewrite your story is now being overturned by the original scriptwriter. Divine verdict. Royalty is not granted. It is recognized by those who've walked through holy fire and did not beg to be spared. This is your coronation, chosen one, the culmination of silent wars, unseen wounds, and victories no one clapped for. You didn't just survive manipulation. You mastered discernment. You didn't just endure exile. You studied the map in silence. You didn't just hold your peace. You became the instrument of judgment without lifting a word. That is why this moment feels different. Because it is. This is not a season. This is a transfer of power. The old gatekeepers are gone. The false heirs are being exposed. The courtroom has ruled, and the signature on the scroll matches your soul print. This is the fulfillment of the contract you signed before birth, and the fulfillment cannot be canceled. You are no longer asking for clarity. You are the clarity. You are no longer wondering what's next. You are what's next. And the territory you're reclaiming, it's not just material. It's energetic. It's generational. It's spiritual. Every inch of influence, every ounce of authority, every thread of divine inheritance is returning to the one who never traded it for applause. You didn't betray your mission. You protected it. You didn't sell your birthright. You guarded it in silence. And now the vaults are opening. Now the angels are moving. Now The witnesses are gathering, not to watch you speak, but to watch you rise. This is not your comeback. This is your crowning. And those who thought you were gone for good are watching you sit in a seat you were never meant to occupy. Let them look. Let them whisper. Let them wonder how, because the answer will never be found in logic. It's sealed in your legacy. I don't return to reclaim space. I return to reign over what was always mine. I didn't survive for survival's sake. I rose for royal transfer. My silence was not absence. It was alignment. Chosen ones, share this with your tribe. Your confirmation has arrived, and the throne never needed permission. Only presence. Your name was always on the file. And now it's written in gold.